Hi everyone, how is it going? In today's episode, we're gonna make this adorable fold-over patchwork bag. This bag will have the zipper closure and we're gonna use the metal zipper. However, if you don't have one, you can also use polyester zipper. The patchwork itself, it's pretty simple because we're gonna use charm packs or the 5-inch squares. Finished measurement of this bag is about 12.5 inches wide and 12 inches long, and the depth is about 4 inches. This bag has that adjustable strap, so you can always use this as a shoulder bag or a crossbody bag as well. So we're gonna get started soon. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and your project turned out great. Let me know in the comment below as usual if you have any question, and I would gladly answer you. And consider subscribing to this channel. I post weekly fun sewing and quilting projects. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Prepare 24 pieces of charm packs or the 5-inch squares. Lay your charm packs just like shown here. So you wanna have 3 charm packs on each row and you will have 4 rows. So in total you will use 12 charm packs. Then we're gonna start piecing this one row at a time. You wanna sew this with 1/4 inch of seam allowance. Alright, so once you've got all the rows sewn together, go ahead and press this, and you want to alternate the direction of the seams when you press each row. So for example, if you press this row towards the left, you want to press the second row towards the right, and the third row to the left, and the last one to the right. This way it's easier to match the seams later when we start sewing these rows together. Now that you've done pressing, we're gonna sew the first and the second row together. You wanna do your best to match the seams or nest it together. You may wanna use some pins if necessary. Then go ahead and sew this with 1/4 inch of seam allowance. Then sew the third and the fourth rows together. Alright, so here we've got our first piece done, and this is gonna be the front exterior shell for me. And you wanna go ahead and give this a quick press. Then you wanna make another piece like this with your remaining charm pack, and that's gonna be the back exterior piece. So here I've got my front and back exterior piece ready to go. So the fabric that will be exposed the most is the third row of your front exterior piece and the first row of your back exterior piece. So you may want to place your favorite squares on those 2 rows. I recommend using 2 layers of interfacing for this project. So we're going to use the fusible woven interfacing that you cut exactly the same size as the front and back exterior shell. And we will also use the fusible fleece. However, with the fusible fleece, we're gonna cut this one 1/2 inch shorter. So the same width, only 1/2 inch shorter. This way, when we are attaching the zipper, there is not much bulk on the upper area of the fabric. Lay the woven interfacing glue side up. The glue side is the one that feels rough like sandpaper. Then you wanna lay your fabric wrong side down. Then you want to fuse this with an iron on cotton setting. You may want to use a pressing cloth if you have one, and you want to start pressing from the middle and make your way around. After you fuse the woven interfacing, lay your fabric wrong side up, and then take your fusible fleece and place it glue side down. Then we're gonna go ahead and fuse this, and if you see, that's the 1/2 inch gap, and it should be on the upper top of your fabric. Here I've got my front and back exterior shell already fused with both interfacing. Now you can leave them the way they are, just like so, or you can go ahead and quilt this. So I quilted mine with simple diagonal lines. You may quilt this in any design that you like, the choice is yours. Now we're gonna set this aside and work on the pockets and the lining as well. So here are my lining pieces. Obviously they are the same size as the exterior shell, and these are the pocket pieces. Lay your pocket pieces right side together. Sew all around with half an inch of seam allowance, leaving about 3-inch opening. Trim off all the corners. Be careful not to cut through the stitches. Then you want to go ahead and turn this inside out. Poke all the corners. I'm using my crochet hook here, but you can also use like knitting needle or chopstick or the tip of your pen. Then you want to give it a quick press and top stitch where the side of the opening hole is to close it. Lay one of your lining piece right side up. Then you want to lay your pocket piece right on the center, 6 inches away from the top. Secure that in place with some pins. Then you want to draw 2 lines on both sides of your center fold, 1/4 inch away. You want to fold your pocket piece in half and then give it a quick press ahead of time to easily spot the center fold. Alright, so now all you need to do is just sew this starting from the side to the bottom and then go up to the line and back down and then back to the side. And this is how your pocket gonna turn out. I'm gonna be using this fabric for the strap and the strap anchor. You will need about 1/4 yard of fabric for this. Now fold your fabric in half from one selvage end to another and then fold that again in half. Straighten up the edges first and then you wanna go ahead and cut 2 4-inch strips out of this. Take one of the strip and cut a 6-inch strip out of that. We're gonna make the strap anchor out of this strip. Head over to your ironing board. Now you want to fold this strip in half widthwise and then press. Open that up and then you want to fold both edges towards the center fold, just like so, and then press. Then you want to fold that again in half and press. Then you want to go ahead and sew this all around with 1/8 of an inch of seam allowance. Then you want to cut this strip in half. And that's it, your strap anchors are ready to go. To make the adjustable strap, you're gonna need a 60-inch long strip. In this case, you may gonna need to join 2 fabrics together, and to do that, you wanna cross your fabric right side together, leaving about 1/4 inch of tails on both ends. Then we're gonna draw a diagonal line from this upper corner. Obviously, you wanna use your fabric marker for this. Secure that in place with a pin. Then you want to go ahead and sew right on that line. Once you've done that, you want to go ahead and trim the excess fabric off. And voila, you've joined your fabric. Now go ahead and press the seams open. For the strap, you're gonna need the fusible woven interfacing. The width of your interfacing should be 2 inches and the length should be 59 inch or 1 inch shorter than your strap. You may cut several pieces like what I do here, since my interfacing only come 20 inches wide from the bolt. Now we're going to fuse the interfacing on the fabric. So lay your fabric wrong side up and then lay the interfacing glue side down, and you wanna lay this 1/2 inch away from the end of your strap. And you want to go ahead and fuse this on cotton setting. Now you want to fold the end of the strap here 1/2 inch and then press. And you want to do the same with the other end as well. Now fold the strip in half and press. Then you want to fold both edges towards the center fold and press. Then you want to fold that again in half and press. Sew all around with 1/8 of an inch of seam allowance. Now that your strap is already sewn, prepare your adjuster and your lobster clasp swivel. All of them should be measuring 1 inch, which is the same width as your strap. Now take your adjuster and take one of the end of your strap. Feed that through the wrong side of the adjuster and then up to the right side and back down to the wrong side. You want to have about 1.5 inches of clearance there, and then go ahead and sew 2 lines to secure this in place. Sew back and forth about 3 to 4 times to add extra bond to the strap. And you should end up with something like this. Now you want to keep your strap facing up like this. Set that aside, and then you want to take the other end of your strap and insert one of the lobster clasp. Then you want to feed this to the adjuster, starting from the wrong side up to the right side and then back down to the wrong side. Then you want to pull the strap, and you just want to make sure that there is no twist, okay? Just so keep assessing as you do, because it's gonna be so annoying when you're done sewing this and just to realize that your strap is twisted. Now you want to insert the other lobster clasp just like so, from the outside towards the inside. Again, you want to have about 1.5 inches of clearance there. Then sew 2 lines to secure this in place. Again guys, before you sew this, go ahead and assess that one more time just to make sure that there is no twist on your strap. Alright, so I've already sewn my strap and it's looking great. Now we're gonna work on the strap anchors. Prepare 2 1-inch D-rings. Take one of your strap anchor and then feed that through one of the D-ring. Then you want to place this below the seam of your first row, just like so. Secure that in place with a sewing clip, and then you want to do the same with the other side. Then you want to go ahead and sew this with 1/4 inch of seam allowance. And you do not need to backstitch this since this is only for tacking purpose. Prepare your zipper, and your zipper should be 12-inch long, which referring to the length of your zipper teeth. Cut 2 scraps of fabrics measuring 2-inch long by 1-inch wide. Fold that in half just like so. Place this on your zipper end, right next to your end of your zipper teeth, just like so. Secure that in place with a fabric clip. Then you're gonna go ahead and sew right on the edge here, about 1/8 inch seam allowance. So I'm using my regular presser foot and move my needle all the way to the left, and this is how it's gonna turn out. Now go ahead and work the same for the other side. To create the boxy look, we're gonna draw 2-inch squares on both bottom corners of all your pieces, including the lining as well. Then you wanna go ahead and cut them. And once you've done that, we're gonna go ahead and start assembling the back. Lay your front exterior shell right side up, unzip your zipper all the way down, place it on the upper top of your front exterior shell right side down. Then take the front lining piece and lay that right side down. Then you want to secure this in place with some sewing clips. Once you've done that, go ahead and sew along the edge here, about 1/4 inch of seam allowance. Again, I use my normal presser foot and move the needle all the way to the left. And if you have a zipper foot, you may also use that instead. Open the sandwich and find the zipper. Now I'm going to use my hair marker to smoothen up the edges here. You can also use your finger or give it a quick press, but make sure your iron is set on the low setting so you won't distort the zipper. Do not use iron though if you are using the nylon zipper. Once everything is nice and smooth, you want to go ahead and top stitch this. So I'm still using the same setting, moving my needle all the way to the left, and I actually use the edge of my presser foot here as the gauge to keep my stitching line even, and I also increase my stitch length to 3 mm. And this is how mine turn out. Lay your back exterior piece right side up, then you wanna lay the zipper on the upper top right side down, just like so. You wanna take your back lining piece, the one with the pocket, and lay that right side down. Secure that in place with fabric clips, and again you're gonna sew this with 1/4 inch of seam allowance. Open up the sandwich, smoothen up the edges, and go ahead and top stitch this. Now we're gonna start assembling this bag, so make sure your zipper is open. Now you wanna take the exterior shells and the lining and lay them right side together, just like so. So you want to make sure that the right side of your exterior shells are touching each other, and also the right sides of your lining are touching each other. So what we're gonna do next is to sew all around this, leaving about 5-inch opening on the bottom of the lining here. Now you want to use some fabric clips to secure this in place. Make sure that the seams of your zipper are matched and nested together. So I recommend starting from the center and make your way around. And once you've done that, you want to go ahead and sew this starting from the sides and the bottom as well. You do not want to sew the corners. We're going to work on that later. And of course, you want to leave out the opening bottom here. So we're going to sew this with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. So this is how it's gonna turn out, and here is the opening bottom there. This is where we're gonna turn the back inside out later. Now we're gonna work on boxing the corners. So you wanna take one of the corner here and open that up, match the seams, and then you wanna pin this in place. Then go ahead and sew this with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. And you want to do the same with the other corners as well. And once you've done boxing all the corners, we're gonna find that opening hole and turn this back inside out. And you want to poke the corners with your fingers, smooth that out. Now you want to go ahead and sew this opening hole closed. Then you want to tuck the lining back inside. Then fold this back right on the seam from the first row, just like so. Then go ahead and attach the straps. And voila, you have yourself now a new lovely bag. You can wear this every day for your errands or for a trip. You can sell this online or give it away to someone that you love. And that's all I have for you today, guys. Thumbs up if you like this tutorial, and I shall see you next time with another fun sewing project. Goodbye!